I'll just start outside of it. Really happy about the whole tournament in general. Excited to get all these schools here to participate in this again. Hopefully we'll be able to continue to make this an annual event. Haven't got a chance to talk to all the coaches since the tournament ended who were involved in this, but I'm hopeful they had a good experience and we'll be able to keep this thing going forward and continue to grow it. I don't know if this year was exponential growth or considerable growth, but I'd like to say just kind of doing it again and continuing to get it going will be something we can build on going forward. So I'm really happy that we were able to do that. Obviously thankful to Northern New Mexico again for participating in it, as well as all the other teams that were a part of it as well. So it was a positive experience overall. As far as the game goes, I think in the long run, it was really good for us. The first half in particular really allowed us to kind of establish some things that we've talked a lot about but didn't really get in place. But I think we finally showed some flashes of that in the second half in the defensive side of the ball. So very good basketball team we're about to play Tuesday night. We're well aware of that. We're starting on them right now. We have to get as prepared as we can for Iona in the next 72 hours. And that's really all we're going to start to concentrate on going from here.
That start of the second half of the run, especially on the defensive side, was there something different about what you guys are doing, or just kind of one of those times where things were working?
Yeah, I think we challenged them at halftime pretty good. This is the way our defense has looked for 5 straight halves. 2 in the scrimmage, 2 at Northridge, and 1 here. And enough is enough, and that was good to see us respond in the second half, and I think good to see us understand some of the things we're trying to do and maybe taking some of those more seriously, or just understanding the consequence to what those things are. So we showed some things in the second half defensively that were encouraging. Does that mean we're in the clear? By no means. I think our new guys, influx of new guys, instilling a system, et cetera, we're just not quite where we need to be or where I want us to be right now.
Is there a reason, though, that you're not there that was different than last year? I mean, it's only an exhibition game, I guess, but, if you're saying you're not where you want to be, why aren't you there?
Well, I don't know where we're at compared to last year, but my expectation is to be a lot further ahead. So, if this year's team had to play last year's team right this minute, we're probably a little bit better. I don't know if last year's team was really very good early in the year. But I would also say that with some of the things that have happened to personnel and different things like that, we're not quite at the level I'd really like us to be right now. I don't know if that's a terminal thing. It's just kind of where we're at on November whatever today is.
What do you like the very most about your team right now?
The team we have right now, I said this in the pregame. What's very encouraging is they have something about them. They have a very good confidence about them, and they have a belief that they're going to win and that they're good. Now, there's a problem with that, and that's something I challenge them on every day, and it probably makes my life pretty unpleasant. But I thought last year's team either didn't really know how to win, didn't think they could win, waited for something bad to happen, waited for the bottom to fall out, and this year's team's kind of the opposite. And I think part of that's the background of the guys. I think when we put this team together a year ago, we had some guys that were here that had been through some up and down stuff. We brought in some guys that had some different up and down backgrounds from the programs they were from and the success that they had. But I think the returners were around for some really good success and saw that. And then a lot of the guys we brought in were around a lot of success. Corey Manigal's team was the #1 junior college team in the country. Keith McGee's team won the national championship. Drew Drennan was pretty close to being in the national. We've just brought a lot of guys in that think they can win, and that's good and bad. But I think right now that it's much better to be coaching that than what I was doing last year, which was just trying to make these guys feel good about themselves and think they can win.
11 of 17 from 3 in the first half, 15 of 27 overall. Is the 3-ball going to be an important part of your team this season?
I think it's an important part of our team every season. It was last year. It is this year. We recruit shooters. I think we can shoot the ball better this year than we could last year. And last year we broke a school record for threes. So we want to get them up. We practice them. We shoot them. We play for them. We play the style to set up getting open and getting loose for some threes. And hopefully we'll be able to shoot the ball like that. We're not going to shoot like that every night percentage-wise. But, again, we have some really good shooters. And provided they continue to get good looks, we'll take the percentages wherever they happen to be.
Anybody's green light? I know you talked about the green lights the other day. Anybody's green light less green now?
We're still working on that. We're still working on that.
25 points for Anthony Mathis, 5 of 5 from 3. How important is it to have a senior like that on your team?
Yeah, Tone and Dane are still they're our kind of rocks right now. They're really kind of getting us through this little initial period of the season while we get everybody else kind of their legs underneath them with real games and competition and how we want to play and how we adjust and things we do. And they're the leaders of that right now. It's put a lot of pressure on Vlad and McQuatch. They're only sophomores, but we're asking a lot of them right now. And without Dane and Tone's just steady leadership, we'd be really far off right now, as opposed to hopefully just a little far off.
What does this team need before Iona?
We need to find a way to consistently defend. I think right now our defense, like I said, over the first 5 halves of play has not been very good. The last 20 minutes there, we started to show some flashes, and we've got to go out and do it now consistently against a quality opponent in a real game that matters, and that's what we have on Tuesday night. So it's a great challenge for our defense and our team.
I know what the size disparity was, but you guys had a size advantage on Tuesday too, and still lost the offense. The offensive glass. They were killing you guys.
Yeah.
Are you happy with what you did on the offensive boards tonight?
Second half was a little better. The field goal percentage kind of jars that a little bit. We shot a really high percentage tonight, so there wasn't a lot of stuff for us to get on the offensive glass. But it's not something we're doing very well right now. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's good. Consistently finding a way to rebound and defend is something that's kind of, so far, it's very early with a small sample size, but something we haven't really proven that we can do well.
After struggling with the ball from your forward position last game, how did you think they did tonight, and especially the end?
I thought they did a little bit better. Yeah, Keith and Tone obviously led us in turnovers. I thought in general there was a couple plays early where they kind of did some things we really didn't want them to do. But I thought as the game went on, the forwards in particular did a much better job of taking care of the basketball and just taking what was there. We had some issues on the inbounds plays, and Keith unfortunately turned those over. And Tone, I thought, just took some passes that really weren't there, that he has to do a better job of they were just throw-aheads in transition, that he just has to get a better feel of, should I really be throwing that pass or not? We dealt with that early last year with our point guards when you're used to just playing fast and running, and in practice that guy is there and that guy is there. And sometimes in games, even when he's there, it's not a 100-0 pass. It's a 70-30 pass, a 60-40 pass, and we just got to understand those odds when we're throwing those balls ahead up the floor.
Was Drew Drennan dressed out just as a routine to get through the whole routine thing?
Yeah, we warmed him up, and if he went well in warm-up, we were going to play him. He didn't feel quite 100% ready to go. We talked to the trainer, and he was technically cleared to give it a shot, so we were hopeful maybe he'd even give it a few possessions, but he didn't quite feel comfortable enough, so we just kind of held him out.
Tuesday then likely at this point?
I guess we'll see how he looks tomorrow, but I would hope if this is where we're at, hopefully by Tuesday night he could at least get in the game and at least get some reps going so he can start to work his way back into the lineup.
Come Tuesday and the rest of the season, is Jordan Rowe going to keep getting quality minutes?
Yeah, I like Jordan, and even some of the stuff he did tonight. He's doing a really good job defensively. Offensively, he's a little limited away from the rim, and he's just got to be strong with the ball and move it and make decisions. But he's long. He affects the glass at both ends of the floor, does everything we want him to do. And at this point, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue to play the minutes that he's been playing.
Hey, Coach.
Thank you.
Have you learned something from your coaching last year, saving the legs of your team more than maybe they did last year? They seem stronger with their legs tonight.
Yeah, I think it's something we talk a lot about. The reality is saving your legs right now might not give the type of advantage you'd want on November the 10th. I think these minutes now show up on January 10th and February 10th and March the 10th. So I'm well aware that when we played Northridge and they played those guys a lot of minutes, that might not quite show up in the Northridge game. It's the beginning of the season. Guys are still pretty fresh. They're ready to go. But as the season wears on and it wears on you physically and wears on you mentally, that's where I'm hoping as our season progresses, all these guys playing the minutes that they do will enable them to be better as the year goes on in comparison to their competitors. Thanks. The guys are